Hi, this is Anime Explained, and today I'm going to summarize the story of a critically acclaimed romantic drama anime exploring the lives of a boy and girl and their relationship with each other. This is a powerful story, so get ready to feel some feels. Please be aware that there are spoilers ahead in this video. Let's get into it. Episode 1, The Chosen Cherry Blossom. A boy and a girl are talking to each other. The girl suddenly says 5 centimeters per second and the boy asks what is. She replies, it's the speed at which cherry blossoms fall. The girl, Akari, asks the boy whether the leaves falling look like snow, to which the boy replies, I guess. Akari runs ahead and the boy chases after her, telling her to wait up. As they run, they reach a train station and the sound of the train is heard. Akari runs up ahead and is on the other side of the train tracks. The boy, Takaki, calls out to her. She tells him that it'd be great if they could watch the cherry blossoms fall again together, next year as well. The train passes by and blocks their view of each other. Takaki is reading a letter from Akari that says it's been a long time. Summer has been pretty hot at her place, but not as much as compared to Tokyo. When she thinks about it, she likes Tokyo's hot, humid summers. She remembers the melting hot asphalt, the distant skyscrapers shimmering in the heat, and the freezing air conditioning in the department stores and on subways. The last time they were together was at their elementary school graduation, and it's already been half a year since then. So, she asks if he still remembers her. Takaki is seen reading another letter from her. She thanks him for replying. It made her very happy. She says that it's already into autumn and the leaves have turned into beautiful colors. She had to pull out a sweater for the first time this year, the day before yesterday. A senpai of Takaki walks towards him as he's reading the letter, and asks him if it was a love letter. She also asks him if it was true that he was transferring to another school, and if so, where to. He replies that the school's in Kagoshima and that he has to transfer because of his parents. Takaki reads another letter in which Akari says that she was writing the letter on the train because the practice had been starting early lately. She had cut her hair yesterday. It was so short that he could even see her ears, so he wouldn't probably recognize her if he saw her. She bets that he was also changing little by little too. Another letter is being read which asks if he was doing well during these cold days. It had already snowed a few times at her current place. Every time snow falls, she wraps herself in layers of clothes when she goes to school. She asks if it had snowed in Tokyo yet. Even though she has moved away, she regularly looks at Tokyo's weather forecast out of habit. She is surprised to know that it's Takaki moving this time and says that they're both used to switching schools by now. Even so, Kagoshima is farther than usual. It makes her sad that she can't hop on a train and meet him. She wishes him to be happy at the new place. They both agree to meet on March 4th. As it's been a year since they last met, she's kinda nervous. She also informs him that there's a cherry tree at her place. She bets that when spring arrives, the petals will fall at 5 centimeters per second. She hopes that spring will arrive at the same time he does. On the 4th of March, it's raining hard. Takaki makes a detailed schedule for the day that ends with meeting Akari at 7 p.m. She appreciates him for agreeing to come to a station near her place. She asks him to be careful since it's a long journey. Takaki hops on a train and watches the time, which reads 15:54. Snow also started falling then. He remembers the past with Akari by his side. The times like playing with stray cats, running by a shrine, and talking about different eras while having lunch. He believed that Akari and he were kindred spirits. Since childhood, they both were small and prone to illness, preferring to stay indoors and read books. They were also teased by other students, but it didn't matter since they had each other. He thought they would be together forever. He remembers a time when Akari had to leave for Tochigi, after having just moved to her place a few weeks back. Akari had called to inform him about moving again while crying. He remembers how he was unable to do anything for her. He keeps waiting for the train that had been delayed due to the snow. He watches the time, which shows 17:10. His anxiety started to grow as he never considered the train being late. While inside the train, an announcement kept ringing which said that the train will be delayed again due to snowy conditions. After passing the Omiya station, he noticed that there weren't many buildings around. The time showed 17:54 as he neared Kuki. Another announcement is made saying that they will be staying at their current station for another 10 minutes. As he reaches Kogi station, the same announcement keeps ringing. He was in disbelief at the amount of time that was wasted just because of the snow. The time was already 19, the agreed upon time. He felt helpless by the unfamiliar snowy plains, the agonizingly slow crawl of time, and the uncomfortable hunger pangs. He suspects that Akari had started to worry while holding a letter meant for her. He regrets that he had no comforting words for her when she had called him on that day. He had started writing the letter 2 weeks before they were to meet. He wanted to express many things on it, things that he had to tell her. The trains start heading to Utsunomiya then. While waiting for another train, the time reads 1941. Another announcement about the train being delayed is heard. He carries on heading to the destination despite being late. When he tries to get a drink, the letter in his pocket gets blown away. He becomes distraught by the event. The train arrives at that moment. The train keeps on being delayed. He checks the time and it's already 20:54. The train remained on that spot for more than 2 hours. Each minute was like an eternity for him. He hoped that Akari had already gone home. The time was 11:14 p.m. when he reached his destination. He gets out and heads to a subway. He sees Akari waiting by a heater sleeping. He calls out to her and she starts crying. After a while, they enjoy roasted green tea. Akari asks if he drank it before. Takaki replies he never did. She also shares some of the homemade food she made herself. He thanks her and says he was very hungry. She asks how the food's taste was. He says that it's the best food he has ever tasted in his life. They laugh as they continue eating. After dinner, they walk by the road leaving their footprints behind. She shows him the sakura tree she had mentioned in her letter. They stand before the tree, and Akari asks if it reminds him of snow, reminding them of their past. This time, he replies it does and they kiss before the tree. At that, Takaki felt that he realized where eternity, the heart and the soul, truly existed. After that moment though, he felt sad since he didn't know what he was supposed to do. He also realized that they wouldn't always be together, but soon his worries melted, leaving only the sensation of Akari's lips on his. They spent the night in a small shed on the outskirts of a farm. They wrapped themselves up in an old blanket and talked through the night until sleep overcame them. In the morning, they said their goodbyes. He said that he'll continue to write, as he remembers that he didn't tell her about the letter he wrote. Akari also didn't give him hers as well. He proceeds to stare outside the door as he longed for the ability to take care of her, to keep her safe. Episode 2, Cosmonaut. Kanahe riding on her scooter is talking with her sister about her after-school activities. They separate after a while. She hides behind a tree and tries to encourage herself. Takaki is practicing archery when Kanahe arrives. They talk and Takaki compliments her for her dedication to surfing. She leaves in hurry after hearing the words. Students are filling out their career plan form and talking about their dreams. The other girls joke about Kanahe as she only has Takaki on her mind. Kanahe is sitting on a beach overlooking the sea. Her sister comes by and tells her not to stress too much. Kanahe wishes she had a positive attitude like her. Her sister asks why the rush, to which Kanahe says that she won't have enough time to tell him before they graduate. Takaki is practicing archery with his fellow students. Kanahe refuses her sister's offer as she waits for Takaki so that they can go home together. She was overjoyed after they went home together. She reminisces about Takaki's first day in school. It was love at first sight for her. She wanted to go to the same high school as him, so she studied hard to get accepted. She feels scared and every day hurt, but she enjoys her time with him. She sees him texting someone often. Every time she wishes that text was for her. She couldn't help herself. As they reach her home, Cub, her pet dog, welcomes them and Takaki leaves soon. The next day, Kanahe gets called to the counselor's office since she hasn't filled her career plan form yet. Later, she is practicing her surfing with her sister looking from her car. While returning home from school, she notices Takaki's scooter by the road. She walks up the hill and notices Takaki texting on his phone. She nears and sits beside him while talking. After talking about their college choices, she takes out her career plan form, makes a paper airplane, and lets it fly. On their way home, they wait for a train from NASDA to go by. After they notice the company, Takaki exclaims and Kanahe suddenly says that it's 5 kilometers per hour. He is jolted as he looks towards her. She further explains that it's the speed at which it travels to Mina Mitane's launch pad. He remarks that it's headed for the edge of the solar system and the journey would take years. Takaki is texting with a serious expression on his face. He wrote the message but didn't send it. He wonders since when did he start writing messages that he could never send. Kanahe and her sister go to the beach. Her sister asks if she had figured out what she wants to do. Kanahe replies that she hasn't yet, but she has decided that she'll take everything step by step. With a new mindset, she heads to the sea for practice. She managed to successfully ride a wave after 6 months of dedication. During the lunch break in school, the girls talk about new couples in their class. They also notice Kanahe seemed happy that day. They ask if she made progress with Takaki, to which just smiles. It was the day when she would finally confess to him. Kanahe waits by her usual spot for Takaki. After he arrives, she tries to confess but hesitates. They try to return home on their scooter, but Kanahe's scooter appears to have broken down. Takaki tries to fix it, but it needed professional help, so they walk home together. While walking, Kanahe seems conflicted. She lags behind Takaki and starts crying. He is surprised and asks her what's wrong. She says it's nothing and apologizes while crying. Suddenly, a rocket is seen flying towards the sky. They both look on as it flies on. They walk back home after a while. Kanahe realizes what makes Takaki different from everyone else. It was then that it became painfully clear to her that he didn't truly see her. That was why she couldn't confess to him that day. Takaki drops her at her home and leaves. She felt that he was always looking at something beyond her and he would never reciprocate her feelings. Even so, she was certain that she wouldn't be able to stop loving him. Episode 3 to 5 centimeters per second. In the year 2008, Takaki is working as a programmer in Tokyo. Takaki and Akari appear to pass and recognize each other at the train crossing while walking on the road they knew when they were children. It's the same place they had promised to watch the cherry blossoms together 13 years ago, just before Akari moved to Tochigi. On opposite sides of the tracks, they stop and begin to look back. Yet a passing train cuts off their view. Takaki waits for the train to pass. As he waits, he thinks about his current life. He receives a call from his current girlfriend but does not answer. Meanwhile, Akari is talking with her parents near a train station. She tells them not to worry since they'll see each other next month. At the wedding, she is sitting inside the train, thinking about a dream she had last night. It was of days gone by, of when she and Takaki were still children. She thinks it was probably because she found the letter she had written for Takaki many years ago. Takaki is smoking by the window when a text arrives from his girlfriend. His life was a mess as he couldn't move on. Depressed, Takaki quits his job as he is unable to cope with his feelings for Akari. He goes inside a convenience store and starts reading a magazine about the decade-long journey of the rocket. The same rocket he saw with Kanahe. Takaki waits for the train to pass and finds that Akari is gone. After a moment, he smiles to himself and continues walking as the cherry blossoms stir in the train's wake. Did you like the movie? If you did, please leave us a like and smash the subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. Comment if you have a movie you'd like to see recapped. Thanks a lot.